but I can.
That's one of my favorite things about being on completely totally different sides of the earth. I'm like smashing coffee like it's my job, and he's like, "Well, is it wine or is it rum or what are we gonna do?" So welcome to ChirpCast Weekly Update, where JimmyD and I go through as many EOS.io headlines as we can get our hands on and discuss. We have our very first guest with us today, who is a new friend, but a really, really good friend of mine. All over the EOS.io space, all over the NFT space, is literally my music producer now. We're working on a collaboration together on a single that I'm excited about. And again, I've told the story before, but I'm excited about music for the first time in 10 years. Huge drop coming for uplift.art with this new single on the 15th of November. So we're going to chat with that. But first, again, every day or every time that we do the weekly update, the first bit of it, we want to cram it full of every headline that we can get from the EOS.io community. And then we'll go on to discuss. So if you only have 10 minutes, make sure you stick around and you will at least hear the weekly update headlights.
Well, sometimes when you're in EOS.io, it's like headlights. You stare into the headlights like a deer, and you can't move. Like, what's going on here? Welcome, Michael. It's great to have you here, and Michael and I have known each other for quite a while too. So I thought with the first piece of news story, we would actually let you choose. So I actually wanted to ask you a question. In the last 2 weeks, what's the most bullish piece of news that you think has come out of the EOS.io community? There's been a lot of bullish pieces. I mean, there's tons of there's bulls all over the place, right?
God, so yeah, there's so much. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is, and maybe it's not being talked about enough, but just the wrapped PBTC on Vigor. I mean, I think that's going to be massive.
That's the number one thing on my list, right? So, and as Corey says, like we do have a lot of viewers on this show that might not know the terminologies and things like that about the broader crypto space. So, like, what does that mean for what does wrapped BTC or wrapped Ethereum mean for the EOS ecosystem, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, let's step back for a second and just talk about the DeFi space that has, taken over the crypto ecosystem over the last couple of years. Really started off with Maker, right? To a large extent, but there's so much value trapped in DeFi on Ethereum, which we could have a whole segment talking about the shortcomings of Ethereum and the nightmare of the transition possibly be. And as a business person and a business owner, I can't even begin to think of building a multi-million-dollar business on top of Ethereum, which is an experiment within a larger experiment already. And then on top of that, just as an investor, locking up millions of dollars worth of value within the DeFi ecosystem on Ethereum, knowing that it's this experiment within an experiment with this elusive timeline of implementation that just keeps getting pushed back. So it's just, for me, EOS DeFi is going to be massive, because here you've got it's feeless, almost instant transactions. Liquidity can move quickly and easily. So having, both Ethereum and wrapped Bitcoin within the DeFi space, and I don't know if Vigor's the first, but 10 years from now, it'll be considered one of the first.
Definitely, it's one of the most advanced protocols out there. I mean, it's original in the sense that you have a basket of tokens or a basket of collateral instead of each asset as an individual thing, right? So as adoption comes through and as Bitcoin, value of Bitcoin goes up, that your basket of collateral for tokens that you can borrow just keeps increasing, right? So I think that's like a huge point. And like you said,
well, if I can chime in there, Jimmy, I mean, the one thing that I'm super bullish about, and I did a kind of like a get to know you call with Yves LaRose maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago on mBlu Crypto. And, we talked for, a good hour and a half, just, he and I have been following each other for years now, but we've never spoken. So it was just kind of like, hey, we come on to mBlu Crypto and we just have a discussion about EOS and you and life and, where'd you come from type stuff. But, this guy, first of all, he's just a genius, right? He's a guy where you can just give him a string of numbers, right, and flash it to him, and he'll remember that string, right? So he built his first computer when he was like 6. He has like 13 uncles, and they're all in the tech space. So as he's grown up as a little boy, his play toys were a bunch of computer parts because a couple of his uncles owned computer stores and computer manufacturing. So he'd have like computers all over the place, right? And that's what he'd play with. And he built his first computer when he was 6, and just a brilliant mind, but not only in tech but business as well. And he spent, I think he said it was like 120 days in China alone before the lockdown, right? And he was over there basically coaching different businesses and block producers how to leverage EOS. And so he knows the Chinese space intimately, right? He knows blockchain space in China intimately. And he says, without question, there's a lot of good blockchain projects out there going on. There's good tech, there's good communities, but nothing has the support in China like EOS does. Dan Larimer is considered this rock star hero. There's massive support from ground, from zero to infinity for EOS.io, and that is a huge ecosystem to be leveraging. So if China embraces EOS technology, and we have a way for them to leverage their Bitcoin in a meaningful way on a blockchain platform that is nearly instant and feeless, right? Then we're going to see, and Yves, and that's what Yves is really alluding to in his really kind of bullish tweets about a month ago, is that, guys, it's coming. There's a massive wave of liquidity coming to EOS, and the DeFi space in EOS is young, but it's going to be moving quickly. So I really see that. I really see that, we're just kind of fine tuning the space, just making sure everything works properly, plumbing's in place. And then I see just a massive wave of liquidity, and possibly, I'm a bit of a betting man because I'm in the crypto space, right? I would bet that B1 is going to have some surprises of liquidity coming down the line before too long, which are going to be very impressive. This might be my optimism, but I just have this feeling.
Yeah, and so on the back of that, I think like there's not really any way that EOS won't be popular in China, because it's one of the 5 cryptocurrencies that's rolled up in that new Chinese national digital currency already, right? Now, like how far?
Wait, what? I hadn't heard about that, and that does seem like way to breathe the lead.
Yeah.
Well, and again, because I really do want to make sure that this show is as available to total noobs as humanly possible. And so wrapped Bitcoin, and I might even butcher this, so please step in when I do. But it's basically a way to use Bitcoin, send it back and forth on the EOS blockchain, right? So that's basically you're putting it into a contract, and then you can bounce that contract in on the EOS blockchain anywhere that you want. And then you can take it out and put it back onto the Bitcoin blockchain and send it that way if you wanted to. Is that about right?
100%. So the biggest problems with Bitcoin and Ethereum have always been transaction times and fees. And
cost, yeah.
I like what Michael said earlier about Yves, because like that's the thing, right? Like he's the one guy that doesn't really need to be in EOS, because like if he can remember a string of numbers, he doesn't need to remember a 12 character account name.
He just walks around with like 50 Bitcoin addresses in his head.
I want that superpower, man.
Right?
What's that? Mystery man. What's your superpower? I have a shovel.
So,
What's your superpower. I can remember all my Bitcoin wallet addresses.
Yeah, that's crazy. So China, and again, I think the World Bank has been talking about doing a digital currency. The U.S. is flirting with the idea of doing a digital currency, although I think they're way behind. I don't barely think that any one of them have any clue what's actually going on. So China's talking about doing a digital currency seriously. I had heard that. So what I hadn't heard is that it was going to be a basket of other things. So how is EOS or other cryptocurrencies connected to that?
So I think EOS, Neo, Ethereum, Bitcoin. I think there was 5. Do you know, Michael?
I think Bitcoin Cash was in there too.
Bitcoin Cash. It was 5 or 6, and essentially they were. I don't know that much about it, but they were all rolled up into one, and essentially this will be like their national digital currency. And whether they actually, I'm not sure about this, whether they actually support the tokens or not, but they're definitely supporting the technologicals of the.
Interchain operability. They're basically focusing on those. I mean, this is trillions of dollars of future liquidity. For these different things, like that's just bullish for the whole ecosystem in a way that, I mean, PayPal can't touch at all.
I knew you were going there. Yeah, but PayPal's good, but yeah, you're right.
It's amazing, but yeah, it's an ant on the back of the elephant that is Chinese cash liquidity to the tune of all of the big T trillions.
Well, and did you guys hear the news? I think it's been out for a couple months now that apparently all U.S. banks, I guess federal banks, can now custody crypto. I remember reading that. It's been a while, but yeah, I remember thinking
some of them were doing it, but I didn't realize it was all of them. That's an interesting.
Yeah, so I think it's something to Google, but because I remember reading it, and it was from a mainstream source, which doesn't really mean anything anymore. But anyways, so yeah, I was thinking, God, why isn't this being talked about all over crypto? Because this is a huge thing. If banks can truly custody crypto in the United States now, that's telling me that there is clarity, but just the little guys haven't heard it yet, right? So it's just more top brass, are in on the memo. So yeah, I got to find that. Article. I'm sure it's more than just one article if that's true, but
yeah. So, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So there's a ton of bullish. I mean, the fact that PayPal is coming out saying what they're saying about adding buy, sell, trade, store crypto on PayPal, that also tells me that there's clarity, because they wouldn't be doing that and publicly stating that if they didn't have a good idea of what the hell was happening, right?
Yeah, there are some issues with that though, because at this point in time right now, I don't think that users can't withdraw. If I'm correct, they can't withdraw their coins yet, their Bitcoin yet. They can only use it to transact. They can only use it to transfer. So I mean, it's a step in the right direction, and I'm not sure they've released any details on when businesses would actually be able to pull the crypto out. But from my understanding of it, it's not fully integrated yet. But just that step of, like you said, being able to state that, and not put themselves into a legal liability or regulatory, nightmare. It's pretty huge.
It's probably just a matter of getting their KYC protocol put together as far as withdrawing it.
Yeah, but they wouldn't even go that far if they didn't have a roadmap and a plan, and
right.
Their $1 million lawyers have certainly asked some questions to some top regulators. So yeah, they wouldn't be doing the marketing and spending the money and the time and the energy and pushing it out there if they didn't have a pretty good, clear idea of what's coming down the pike. So I found that link. I don't know if it's the only one, but it's a CoinDesk article, and that was written July 22nd. And it says the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency OCC, which I believe that's the old. I can't remember what his position was at Coinbase, but he was a higher up exec in Coinbase. I guess he's the comptroller now. Did you guys know that, right?
I'd heard something about that, but
yeah. So the comptroller of the United States is from Coinbase. So bullish just right there alone.
Right.
So here, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, OCC, is letting all nationally chartered banks in the U.S. provide custody services for cryptocurrency. So I gave you guys that link there. But that is some pretty bullish news that the crypto community hasn't really jumped on to a large extent, from my purview at least.
Yeah, I mean, regulatory clarity we talk about institutional money coming in all the time, right? And that's the one thing that stopped it. So JimmyD, we should definitely list out as many of the headlines as we possibly can if there's a whole lot more. Was it this week that the JP Morgan started saying that they basically are suggesting that everybody have a small bit of Bitcoin, or was that last week?
Yeah, I think that was like early beginning of this week, which is, what does that really mean? I guess it means that their bags are full. I mean, they're ready to.
Yeah, exactly. They've established their position in the last 3 years, and now they're ready to promote it.
Well,
yeah.
Here's the thing: is that it was really the Wall Street media marketing machine that really made the 2017 bull market happen, right? And then they turned it off, right? But now you can clearly see that the media marketing machine that Wall Street backs is now turning back on. The fact that JP Morgan is basically showing, part of their hand is telling us that they are starting to rev up that marketing machine again, like they did in 2016, 2017. So I really feel like we're close to a bull market really, taking off, because they wouldn't be firing up, and JP Morgan wouldn't be putting out articles like this, which is an exact 180-degree opposition from where they were even a year ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I think things are cooking.
Well, and it happens. I've been a student of the 4-year halving cycle, and what that does to just the rote, simplistic supply and demand economics inside the mining communities and all the different Bitcoin mining stuff. So like we were looking at a bull move into 2021 anyway, right? Like that was going to happen to whatever extent the market could take it in. But it's not surprising at all that JP Morgan would jump on the bandwagon. And if they have a position, which clearly they do, then why wouldn't you get out and promote it? Also, this is an EOS.io weekly thing, and I do have a small little bag of that. And I'm glad we were talking about Vigor too, because that, I think people are still sleeping on that. We talked about it on this show. mBlu, you and I have talked about it as well. Like it feels like there's a glaring neon light just screaming that once people figure out that Vigor can do all of the things that are being done on Ethereum, can do it at least as fast or much faster, and basically for free, that there's got to be potentially billions in capital that'll flow into that.
Oh, and there's an added benefit to Vigor as well. If you look at all of these other DeFi platforms that are there in EOS and in Ethereum and beyond, right? So I think like Vigor adding PBTC to the platform, that's number one. That's just massively huge, right? Mm-hmm. But number two, like the thing with Vigor is if you look at the structure of the borrow and the lending rates, the lending and the borrow rates, all of these other platforms are taking a fee from this. Vigor is the only platform that's not taking a fee. It's a community, it's a DAC, it's built in. There's no like hidden fees, number one. The second thing is when the system bails someone out and the loan defaults, it defaults with the protocol. It defaults built into the protocol. All of these other platforms, when something defaults, it goes into auction. So the amount of money that the people get back that put up the lending tokens is completely dependent upon a third party that auctions those funds off. Whereas Vigor, that's not the case. With Vigor, when it goes into auction, it's designed, the contract is designed to be settled right then and there with 3 or 4 layers of protection for the lenders. I mean, obviously there's risk in any DeFi platform, but 3 or 4 layers of protection for the lenders that don't go into auction, that don't rely on a third-party service. So like you said, not only the fact that like you can do it on EOS.io with EOS.io technology with instant transaction times, there's no wait times. which cuts out a whole nother series of issues in terms of sending multiple transactions within one block, right? Which has caused issues for Maker and other platforms in the past. But there's all of these nice things that have been built in by the Vigor protocol that essentially, in my opinion, protects both the lenders and the people who are involved in the platform, and doesn't take advantage of the borrowers to the same extent that these other platforms are. I mean, some of these platforms, the lending rate is like 1% to 2%, and the borrow rate is like 6%. I mean, it's great for the business, but it's not necessarily great for this open DeFi community. And Vigor doesn't have that. The rates are a lot more concurrent to being a truly decentralized lending platform that is run by its users, as opposed to, you know, a top-down business-oriented approach. Yeah. Right, for that.
It's okay. It's what Maker wanted to be when it grew up.
Right. Exactly. Here's a question, and then we got to bang out whatever headlines are left, because I want to try and keep this part of it under half an hour, because I want to make this show about me. Just kidding. mBlu and the drop. Although I'm in it, and I'm consistently and constantly both freaked out and fascinated by my little part in it. Anyway, so Bank of America has $2.3 trillion under management. How long until Vigor has $2.3 trillion under management through smart contracts?
December 25th, 2020. You heard it here first, folks.
Christmas. Merry Christmas. Do you imagine?
You got a bowl in your pocket somewhere. I mean, it'd be great. You have a bowl in your pocket. You can do it. You know, and then you can double bank on the prediction markets, on the Everpedia IQ prediction markets. It'd be great.
Oh yeah, you know the predict, the Everpedia predict IQ prediction market. That's really cool, man. I haven't tried it out yet, but I'm going to here soon.
Yeah, did you guys see Dan Larimer's tweet about that?
Yeah, talking about the Ricardian contracts. You know, that's kind of above my pay grade. I get it and I understand.
Yeah, me too.
From a high level, but I guess it's basically, you know, a pop-up basically explaining the intent of the transaction you're about to sign in clear language that that the user can understand and then basically agree to. I think you know, that's basically what he's referring to.
Okay.
But it's been a while since I've explored the whole Ricardian contract thing, which I, in the beginning, really thought was a great idea, and still do. But how to implement that in such a way that's easy and coherent for the everyday user, right?
Yeah, and as always, we'll drop all of these links in the social posts that we make under the video and stuff too. But
yeah, but it's really nice that he's you know, out there exploring the ecosystem, which you'd expect him to do anyway.
Right.
But at least he's, you know, talking about it to a certain degree. And I love Dan Larimer, and he's the whole reason why I'm in this space. The EOS IO space was. I
like Dan Larimer as well, but I'm a little bit annoyed recently. I'll be 100% honest. I'm not. I understand that it takes a lot to manage a business, to run a business, to be a CTO or a CTO and a CEO in the case of Brandon Blummer. But it's gotten to the point now where this is what's annoying me. Instead of just kind of owning up to the things that they haven't done, they're kind of starting to make excuses now, which this is the wrong time to be making excuses, in my opinion. Maybe a really good example of this was there's been a lot in the news. We covered this last week about the Eos Vc funding, some of it going to Ethereum projects, and a lot of the community blowing up about this. And there was a note on Twitter a couple of days ago or a day ago where somebody asked him about this, and they said, you know, could you maybe push, you know, in the direction of Eos Vc to like kind of fix this? And he, instead of saying like, yeah, maybe that's something that I should do, he kind of came up with an excuse saying, well, it's kind of difficult. Like I have to micromanage all of these people and I don't have time for it. And I thought the person responded very politely and very kind, kind of the most on Twitter, by saying like, yes, this is why you need to make sure that the teams that you are hiring are people that share your vision and are aligned. And I thought that was a really good point. And I think maybe somewhere along the way, and other chains might hit this as well. Ultra might hit this, UX might hit this, Telos might hit this. Any of these other chains might hit it. But at somewhere along the line, it kind of seems like the vision that the team had became fragmented. And then there was no kind of feedback towards the community. And this is causing the EOS ecosystem a lot of stress. Now, it's very possible that Block One's vision is completely different than the community who bought into it. And I'm not saying that Block One's vision is wrong. Maybe their intent is to run this as an operation. Maybe their intent is to run this as a business, and that's okay, as long as they're clear about it. But I think like sometimes right now, there seems to be a lot of bickering in the EOS community, which again, in a way is news. And especially over this like VC funding of Ethereum projects and other.
That's interesting. I definitely feel like we should focus on what we know as far as conjecture, because like understanding the mind of B1 is not something I'm like we can mess around with it, but not in the half an hour we have for headlines. But mBlu, you were saying as far as Dan Larimer, how do you know Dan Larimer?
Well, I don't know him personally. I know his father.
Of him, sure.
I've interviewed his father 3 or 4 different times on mBlu Crypto in the past. Really good man. Dan and Stan used to work very closely together with BitShares. Dan saw the stalemate happening in BitShares, and there's no more funding for development. So, since that was Dan's full-time job, well, he needs to pay the bills, so he moves on out of the BitShares community. So anyways, he basically handed the reins over to his father, Stan Larimer, who's now working on BitShares / Beos. Beos is basically the middleware bridge between BitShares and EOS ecosystem. Really fascinating project. Check it out. There's a business dApp being built on it called ruon.ai, ruon.ai, which is, it looks like everything I thought voice was going to be. So check out that app. It's a social media app on Beos called ruon.ai. So I've interviewed Stan about Beos, BitShares, and Ruon several times. So through Stan, I feel like I know Dan, even though I've never talked to him, but I've been a follower of Dan's work and his writings. He's a very prolific writer, deep mind, philosophically, technically. I really admire him.
Cool. All right then. Did I spell that right? Ruon.ai.
Yep.
Nailed it.
The other one on the back of that as well is like, there's been a lot of talk in the community about, Block One and having a potential financial project as well, right? And I think a lot of people forget that, like, I think he came up with this concept of DeFi almost like before it was a concept when he was over at BitShares. Is that not correct, mBlu? I think he had some idea that was created there and maybe wasn't fully developed and a little bit ahead of its time. Like a lot of times I think he does do things ahead of his time. So,
yeah, I mean, it's really hard to say and speculate on that. But, part of me feels like, I mean, if you look into the Beos ecosystem and this Ruon, you're going to look at this Ruon and go, holy shit, this looks incredible. And that's why I thought early, because it's, I interviewed Stan about it, gosh, maybe a year ago or more. I was like, holy crap, this must be like voice undercover, right? Because this is when we just had I don't even know if we knew the name of voice yet. Like we're all speculating on what the name of this thing Block One was working on. But I was thinking, God, is this it, but undercover? Because Father and son, working in the same industry, going on cruises together, they have to talk, right? Even though they say they don't, and then you see this Ruin app, which is, brought to you by Dan's dad. And it just looks like everything I thought that my fantasy of what voice would have been, which back then, again, we didn't know the name of it, but this thing is pretty badass. I don't know what kind of traction it has, if any. I haven't followed it in a while, but I remember being really impressed with the roadmap and the visuals and the problems that they were focused on solving.
Yeah, I mean it looks pretty freaking tight. So yeah, it's built on its own blockchain, a hybrid of Eos. Ruin AI is the only social app that owns and has launched its own satellite network, Sovereign Sky, thanks to SpaceX. Fuck these people. That's way too cool.
Yeah, and if you have a chance, it was about a year ago.
Awesome.
But watch that mBlu video that he did with Stan about a year ago. It was great. They talked about
go to there.
Really,
you know what
good.
Chirp doesn't have? Its own satellite network. Pouty face. I have a new life goal suddenly.
Not yet.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I want to go to there.
Chirp does have its own desk network, though.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
And so that's actually one of the things that we never got around to. That's my meme for the day is when PBTC dust. That's what I want to know.
Oh man, yeah. So this is the thing. Like we launched. And I was talking to Kurt about this yesterday. We launched Telos, on Chirp. So basically, go to the hashtag Telos channel. If you post or like or anything, you get a little automatic transaction right to your Telos wallet, and so that's fun. We'll be integrating Dust at some point. The biggest thing is like any channel now we can integrate any token into any channel. Basically, is the rule
on EOS.io, right? I think that's what you guys said in your interview yesterday.
We're focusing on EOS.io, but we can do anything. Like it we'll have ERC20 tokens before long. We'll have Bitcoin before long. So basically, anything you want to plug into a pool account that's going to reward members of your channel, you're going to be able to do it. But yeah, we're focusing on EOS.io.
And that's awesome for us. That's awesome for all of us. I mean, but that's awesome for us because we have an Uplift Nation channel actually over on Chirp as well that we run and manage. We could.
I mean, I want to see Vigor on there because I want to see more people having some Vigor in their wallets so they understand what the hell is going on. So there's nothing stopping us from saying, hey, we want to promote, like do some promotions for Uplift. So we'll, pool some Vigor together and throw it in a channel and launch it that way. I know the guys at Chirp, we could probably get that done.
There's a few on there as well, like Boyd. I'd like to see Boyd on there as well. There's a few.
Yeah, me too. Well, I think we're going to be interviewing somebody from Boyd pretty soon. mBlu, what were we saying?
Well, let's just put it all on there, damn it. I mean,
no, that's the thing, dude. It won't be too long before you have. I mean, in my head, there are 1,000 projects with tokens on Chirp, all basically investing in multiple channels. Supporting those communities and having that be a distribution method for these tokens. Because again, you can track this with any tokens, the number of active wallets, the number of human beings involved in that ecosystem, the number of real transactions is going to correlate heavily with price, right? So, that's just something we want to be able to provide for people. But let's talk some Uplift. Is there any headlines that we need to get to that we haven't got to yet?
I planned a really nice segue into this.
Oh,
can I do it? It'll take like 3 minutes, and So more back to more in EOS news. Cypherglass is actually doing a pumpkin carving competition for artists for like you guys. I think this is cool. Cypherglass is actually doing a pumpkin carving competition where they're actually going to give away 300 EOS. And you can carve a pumpkin, and they did it last year. I think they call it Hallow EOS, which is really cool. You can carve a pumpkin, and you submit your entry, and you could win some EOS. So for artists, you guys are both artists. I think that's pretty cool. But maybe some of our viewers are artists as well. There's 300 EOS total up for grabs. So
this is going to help because I went through a 3-month intensive pumpkin carving course in San Diego, It only cost me $10,000, but I can carve a mean pumpkin.
Yeah, I figured. I mean, I know you're one hell of an artist, so I figured but I'm not surprised that you went through a pumpkin carving course. I mean, Japanese pumpkins are really small and really hard, so I mean, I think I should get some bonus points for that because. But yeah. And then, yeah, the second thing that I wanted to kind of mention is shout out to Boyd. Boyd, actually, this week, they released their first NFT with utility, the first NFT with utility that we know about on the EOS blockchain. And they're currently running a 3-week auction. They're pondering building a game out of the framework that they've already set up and involving and engaging the community. I think there's about 12 or 13 tokens that are listed for the auction. The auction itself is a little bit gamified. It's not like the Uplift Nation auction where you just go in and you can donate. This auction it's been set up in levels, so you can do minimum donations for a multitude of times. And the other nice thing that they're doing is the winners of these auctions in the highest US dollar value that's paid at the end of the auction, they will get the highest mint, which is very similar to what Uplift Nation did as well. Yeah, so the first NFT by Boyd is actually from the Scientist series, and it's Tesla, which we kind of have a lot to owe in the internet or in energy, and which is very Boyd centric as well. So,
are you mean Tesla the hack?
Tesla, yeah, no, yeah, it's a card on wheels.
No, I saw the card. It looks amazing. It looks incredible. I was kidding. I think Tesla is the most underrated scientist of our time. If you study him, he's an incredible mind and human. So that was just a joke, but yeah,
that's funny because I think Boyd is.
I thought we were gonna have an Edison Tesla like throwdown like right now. Anyway, totally kidding. Yeah, he was at least 100 years ahead of his time. So we definitely need to have somebody from Boyd on because I want to learn all about that. I want to make sure that that people get the skinny on that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in a couple weeks' time we'll be able to get John on, and we'll be able to have a talk with him.
Will there be links to that in the description? I've been so busy, I haven't been able to check it out, but I heard about it and it sounded really, really cool. So
so every week we put all the links for all the descriptions. We're going to put the stories that you shouted out in our description, and we'll post those across our social medias and in the bottom of the YouTube as well.
Sweet.
So yeah, and so that's my segue. I thought it went pretty well. That go from artistry to NFTs to auctions, and that brings us to the second auction that's going to be happening for Uplift Nation, which we're all super excited about.
Well, it's not an auction. It's not an
auction. It's like a card drop.
Yeah.
Sorry, I knew that.
One second.
Hold. Not an auction, right?
For it. Wait for it.
Day the markets take another day to restart and refuel this moon boy ship. My dreams may be futile, but this you say, well, my.
Nice. So that singing there is our very own Corey Cottrell. The dude suddenly re-obsessed with music. Chirp.la guy. Dude, you've got the sexiest voice on earth, man. You're turning my wife's head, man. Stop it.
I mean, that's I married way above my station, and that's exactly how.
Yeah, no. So we started off with the auction, right? And that went really well. It was the first of its kind auction, first of its kind full-length music video on the blockchain. We didn't know how it was going to work, if it was going to work, if anybody was going to show up. It turned out to be a great success. But the intention was, hey, I'm an artist, I'm a producer, songwriter. this is what I can do, push it out there. But my hope was to attract other artists and musicians that were above my pay grade that I could work with and help produce and just take it up another notch. And that's what this November 15th drop. It's not an auction, it's a drop. It's very similar to the Topps card drop or the Blockchain Heroes card drop. So we have got a new reinvention of my Bitcoin Bowl called I'm Not the Bubble. And that's Corey Cottrell singing. He's playing the guitar. He gave me those tracks. I produced the track around him. And I couldn't be happier with it. I mean, I think it's just an incredible piece of music, and so grateful to have connected with Corey and his talents. But this has inspired a whole layer of art. You know, I've created literally 155 separate art pieces for this drop. A third of them are actually music videos of various lengths. The cards at the top are called the collector's editions, and those are all the full-length music video of the song. Those are the prize crown. We're calling it the race to rarity because in this drop model, first of all of the NFTs are pre-minted. So that doesn't mean that all the whales could come in on minute one and buy up the first mints. So whether you're the first guy in the door or the last guy in the door, you all have the equal chance of getting those low mint numbers, right? Which fixes a big problem within the wax drop model that has been presented thus far. So Jonah from Atomic Assets, Fabian from Atomic Assets have really looked at the NFT space and seen kind of what the problem points are, what the community is literally looking for. And they've created this new drop model, which they're allowing uplift.art to test run first on November 15th, to where the NFTs are pre-minted, but now we have a use case for all of the lower cards. So we have a use case for the common cards, uncommon cards, the rare cards, and the epic cards, and the legendary cards. So if you collect, let's say, the 25 base cards of the common card, right, and you collect all those, you know, there's typically thousands of those, right? So if you look on Atomic Hub, you'll see lots and lots of common cards from Blockchain Heroes to Topps to, you name it, right? But now what we can do is we can burn those lower cards in this drop model and receive a random card from the next tier up, right? Or a chance to win a mythic card, right? It's from nearly the top of the rung because collectors above that. Yes, Jimmy.
Yeah, so just a question of clarification here for anyone who's listening. So in order to be eligible for these drops, you have to have the Bitcoin Bull MBB version from the first auction, plus the Serpent and the Snake card in your Wax wallet, correct? Well,
good point. That's to be eligible. Anybody can play this drop. To be eligible for this drop, you just need to have a Wax account and Wax in the wallet. What you're referring to is what we call the random drops of goodness. So the Uplift Art catalog, right? We will take limited editions and we will drop from time to time. We'll do a live stream like this, and we'll do a live drop to a community participant that holds my Bitcoin Bull VB NFT in their wallet, as well as the Serpent and the Wolf NFT in their wallet, which were both the genesis from the first auction. We're going to be doing random drop giveaways outside of that, but we're really reserving those two Genesis NFT holders with some really good NFT, limited edition NFTs from here on out, right? But that's not required to participate in the November 15th drop. November 15th, you just need to have a Wax wallet account with some Wax in it, and you can come and participate, buy, as many packs as you want.
What's a good starter amount? Like for a friend of mine, who's been a fan of my music for a long time and is like, what is Wax? Are you people crazy? Like how much should I tell them to get their hands on to really experience this properly?
Well, first, mortgage the house.
Right. That's what I was figuring. Like, you definitely want to mortgage your house.
Yeah. Sell the
and
sell the
rock
kids,
and roll.
Sell the kids bikes.
So we're gonna do mBlu and I are gonna do an entire episode, I think, probably on the coffee channel, so that we can get people who have never experienced any of this before, show them how to get a wax wallet, show them how to buy some wax with some boring USD, so they can play with this thing. But what I'm thinking, just hearing you talk about that, mBlu, maybe what we could do is because I have some of these combos because I started buying them up because I know what's up. So I could, give one or two away. Like, we could do an episode that's basically just like we email it out secret time to anybody who's on the thing, which sort of gives me an impetus or the rest of us an impetus. Okay, say 3-4 days from now, whatever it is. Excuse me.
Yeah, no, and I would like to do this regularly.
We email it out to the people that are on the waiting list. So incentivize, get your ass on the waiting list so you know when this is coming.
Yeah,
if you have the combo, that's fantastic. We're gonna drop to that combo, but we'll drop to random people on the email list who happen to show up for the thing as well, right? Like, just to give some utility and value for the people that are actually signing up for updates and holding these things both.
Exactly. I mean, just to clarify, so we can, with our airdrop tool, NFT airdrop tool, we can airdrop on the EOS community, we can airdrop on the Wax community, but we can target accounts that have certain assets in them. So we can see, like, okay, you have my Bitcoin Bull VB NFT in your account, and you also have Serpent and the Wolf in your account. So these two kind of unlock the random drops of goodness. So we can see, we can push a button. We want to target this and target this. We roll the dice. It's a random number generator. It picks the account from within that ecosystem, and boom, here's the winner. And then we automatically send that limited edition NFT to that account, all on chain, all viewable on blocks, all above board. So we're going to be doing this more and more, coming from starting now till November 15th, but this will continue throughout time for those holders.
Yeah, so I think maybe for anyone who might not know, like that system that you're talking about, that was actually developed by uplift.art in tandem with Atomic Assets, and that's something new that kind of came from the uplift.art side as well, right? And do you want to speak a little bit more on that, maybe?
Yeah, the airdrop tool is amazing.
The airdrop tool and who it's for and how it's intended to be used, maybe?
Yeah, so it's, we're calling it a community airdrop tool. So any NFT project in the ecosystem that wants to use it, they just need to come contact us, share about, what they're doing. We're looking for legitimate projects that have communities that aren't going to be spamming people, right? They're going to be using it, methodically and professionally. So, it is centralized, we're the deciders on who gets to use it, but that's predominantly because we don't want it to be abused, right? We can see stuff like this getting in the wrong hands and just being abused. And that's, last thing, Uplift Nation or uplift.art wants to be attributed to. But yeah, this partnership with Atomic Assets and Jonah and Fabian, who are just, wonderful, and they really like the vision of what we're doing here. So this November 15th drop, it's a way that I think that a lot of businesses moving forward could work, because we're set up in a way to where 50% goes to charity. On this one, it's Haitian Roots. Because of the lockdown, the supply chains in Haiti have broken down severely and people are starving. So Haitian Roots is just feeding people in Haiti. So we're going to be raising money for this project. I'm going to have Cheryl Moyes from Haitian Roots on mBlu Crypto next week, talk about the food program and what's going on and what they're motivated to do to shine a spotlight on that. So this drop, this November 15th drop, isn't just a money grab, right? Which is, I'm not saying, I'm a capitalist, but here's a new way forward. Think about this, guys. Think about this, not just for uplift.art, but just in general. A business being able to do this, and this is because it's enabled by blockchain. We have low overhead. So a lot of brick and mortar companies wouldn't be able to do this, but certain companies can that have low overhead. 50% is going to a charitable project. Now this can change every drop, right? This one is Haitian Roots, but think about bringing on a well-known artist that's really fascinated with the water project in Venezuela. Well, then we could shift focus to what the artists really want to highlight. But this time around, we're going with Haitian roots because I've got a relationship with them. I trust them. And so 50% going to charity, 25% going to the artist, and 25% going to the operations to keep the business running and covering the expenses. So that is a beautiful model for any company to be able to embrace. I mean, a 25% revenue model is, I think, pretty generous for any corporation or business. And again, it's not going to work for everybody because of overhead costs. But in this model, and we're running with this, I think it's a win-win-win for everybody. So it's a great incentive for the artists to be involved with our drops. It's a great incentive for the charities to do cross promotion and also to help with a specific cause. And it's also enough to keep the business alive and innovating. So that's the current model. Again, early days, and we're going to see how it works and see how it's embraced by the community. But that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I like your pitch. I mean, I saw something today on about NFT real estate. To me, that doesn't make any sense. That's just crazy. I don't think you need a card to say that it's not monopoly.
Well, hold on. There's an entire market, and this is coming down from Canada. In Canada, this is all just regulated. The government just does title, and nobody worries about it. Down here,
Canadian. That's probably why I left.
Right? Okay. Down here, the title stuff is wrong 20% of the time. It's a mess. Right. So having an NFT, like literally doing that, like having an NFT or a digital record of it, it's like it's a ridiculously large financial ecosystem down here in the States that could be solved by a smart contract and an NFT like that. So it's a huge market for somebody who decides to get into that.
Smart contract. I just don't think we need an NFT for it. But anyway, I do get your point.
Cooler.
It's not. Yeah. I mean, maybe you draw the property lines on it or something. I don't know. But anyway, what I wanted to say was I envision, if somebody out there can build this, just build it and tip us, because we work for Tips and Uplift Nation and for this EOSI Weekly as well. But yeah, what I would envision is you mentioned a great point. Businesses could use these, right? What if you had an NFT that was in your wallet that when the shop scanned it, it was a coupon and it was burnt, right? This is brilliant. It saves paper. It saves the environment. It's easy access. Like you said, it could be dropped to random people who, maybe you purchase a premium membership for the shop, and these coupons can be dropped to random people. I mean, the applications for NFTs in just the commercial sector is huge, right? And that doesn't even account for, what uplift.art and other projects are doing from the personal revenue sector of artistry or self-proprietorship, right? It's just we're so undeveloped right now. I mean, we're so early. Everyone says you're early in crypto. I don't spaceships might come before NFTs develop. To the point of right. What it could be, right?
Yeah, it's what we don't know. We don't know, right? Because it's going to unlock just a whole new asset class ecosystem that it's going to be hard to really understand. It's kind of like trying to understand the internet back in 91 or so yeah, it's gonna change everything, I think.
Yeah, the Ready Player One keys is my go-to analogy.
That's awesome. Yeah,
it's an NFT.
Yeah,
plain and simple. Right. Anyway, and also they look really cool. So you guys want to see the whole new music video that just dropped for this Uplift thing?
Yeah,
I'm kind of wondering when we were going to get to see the whole thing, actually.
Oh.
But before you show this, I just want to ask one more question, because if I want this music video, does this music video come in the packs that I can get by participating in this event?
Yeah, so this one here, okay, there's 5 levels of this. Now they're all different, right? They're all variations. to the same song. So there's at the very top level of all these cards are the collector's editions. This is called the Legendary Collector's Edition. So, I'm Not the Bubble, Legendary Collector's Edition. This is achieved, getting this one and getting the mint number 1 of this one is getting all 25 of the legendary cards in the pack, collecting all 25 and burning them, and you get mint number 1 of this. If you're number 2, then you get mint number 2. If you're number 3, so everything is pre-minted except for the cards at the very top, which are minted on demand. So it's the first come, first mint, right? If you're the 10th one, you get mint 10, right? And so on and so forth. But the common collection, same thing. So we have a common collector's edition card, which is a variation of this one. And the common collections are all black and white imagery. There's an uncommon collector's edition. There's a rare collector's edition. There's a epic collector's edition. Then there's a legendary collector's edition. So they all work the same. So if you get all 25 cards in the common category, okay, whatever mint number they are, you can burn those and get the mint number 1 of collector's edition in the common sequence, right? So on and so forth. You can also
so the video is not being given away. You gotta play the collection game to get this video. This
right. But you can also, there's a mythic series as well, to where if you don't want, if you can't get all 25, whatever, and maybe you've got 10 in the common collection, right? Well, then you can burn those and you can get a random mint from the collection higher. So you can move from common to uncommon, but you also have a chance to win a mythic card in there too, right? Let's move up to the rare category. Let's say you've got 10 rares and you can burn 10 of those to get a random number from the epic collection with a chance to win a mythic card from the collection as well. So it gives the lower cards an actual use case to move up into the higher rarity levels.
Yeah, I like it because, if I hold mint number 50 and 40 people, the 40 people of the mints before me burn those cards to get this kind of, special edition, like all of a sudden my mint 50 is like, the same as what a normal mint 10 would be. I mean, I think it's great.
Well, that's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out. Because like I said, again, this is history in the making. This is the first time a drop model like this has ever been produced. And again, we're doing drops that are centered around a music video, which is unique to the ecosystem. And secondly, if people are burning these lower rarity cards in mass to get the higher collector's edition cards, it'll be interesting to see, a month down the line, 2 months down the line, if the common cards actually become rare, right?
Right. That's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
The whole time you were talking about this, because I remember when we, we're playing with the first drop, doing a bunch of I started buying them up. I'm super glad that I did. And the whole time you were talking, I'm like, I'm gonna have to spend so much money on wax to get, because I want to do this. Like, I want to play. Like, I don't just get stuff. Like, I'm gonna have to buy a bunch of packs, and I'm gonna have to play the game.
Yeah.
It sounds really fun.
Well, the same thing with me. It's like,
cool.
On the auction, I didn't pre-mint stuff and give mBlu a bunch of NFTs. The only way I could get these NFTs for myself that I made was for me to play the game, and 2, buy them on the secondary market, which I've done too, so I can give away to friends and family that didn't play, and I want them to have those Genesis NFTs. So yeah, same thing here. Is I'm going to be buying packs myself just so I can play, right? Play my own game, right? I got to pay to play my own game, right?
Right. It's awesome. Yeah, and again, having that the backdrop of that. There's a really strong charity that is going to be getting 50% of literally everything we do. Having that underpin kind of the whole process is something that I really appreciate, frankly.
Yeah, thank you. And I can't wait to do that interview with Cheryl Moyes from Haitian Roots to kind of just give the community kind of more of the why of what we're doing this. And this whole started with how can we create revenue for Uplift Nation, and just really thinking of what can we do? And so finally, being an artist, being a musician, I said, heck, I want to give my good old college try and see how this can work. So, this is the initial phases. The auction, we've bumped it up, bringing beautiful Corey Cottrell, amazing singer, guitarist, bass player into the mix, and now it's just elevated the whole event, which was the whole kind of intention behind the start out of it. It was never going to be just me, right? mBlu is about me starting a spark and seeing what kind of fire we can build, and I can see that it's starting to become a bonfire, and I can't wait to see what's next. And also we've got some pretty exciting announcements coming in January from a really powerful positive development that I can't really share at this point, but it's going to be a good win-win-win all the way around, and it's something that I'm very excited about.
But what we can
good tease
remix, right?
Yeah, you should just yeah, we're gonna play it. You should just tell us anyway. You should, or you can tell us what it's for sure not about.
Tell
us like 1,000 things that it's not about.
Okay, well, geez, that's tough.
Not
about toilets.
There you go. I was gonna say, like, it's gonna have to be a long list.
Yeah. Let's just say big people, big audiences.
I like it. Got to get that Netflix money.
Yeah. Let's say influencers that aren't in the crypto sector.
Even better. We need more of those. That's fantastic. All right, let's play this because I actually haven't listened. We've been making a totally and completely new version that it fixes the only problem that I think this thing has. It's too short. Because every time I listen to this again, like you listen to your own music, it's always a little weird, but I listen to this all the time because I freaking love it.
Yeah, but listen, hey Corey, because as you know, because you delivered files that I haven't even had time to comment on, but good work. But yeah, we're working on an extended version of this song, and that's going to become its own special, very limited number NFT as well. That we're going to incentivize something fun around that. We'll put our heads together, but it's going to be a much longer, cool version of this, kind of reinvented. Anyways, hit it.
Oh yeah.
A Bitcoin bull is all I got left. Sold my house, gold no less. Was a suckling, hollow hands. This man's stronger than the average man. I'm not the bubble, I'm not the bubble, I'm not the bubble, I'm not the bubble, I'm not the bubble. Yeah, the market's take another day to restart and refuel this boom boy ship. My dreams may be futile, but it's you say, well, my dreams may be futile. The Bitcoin bull keeps charging away. Oh, you see, a Bitcoin bull keeps charging away. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey Corey, your bass is a little loud on this end.
I'm not the bubble.
Sorry.
I'm not the bubble. I'm the pin. I'm not the bubble. I'm the pin. I'm not the bubble. I'm the pin. I'm not the bubble. I'm not the bubble. I'm not the bubble. I'm the pin. I'm not the bubble. I'm the pin. I'm not the bubble. I'm the pin. I'm not the bubble, I'm the pin.
I mean, that's just cool.
Well, I just have one question. I mean, who sings live? Well, not live, but who sings? You know, who has a music video? I don't know how to explain this. Dude, man, you're singing like not live, but you're singing in that NFT with your face in front of a mic. That's never been done before. That's crazy.
That's an NFT, guys. That there is the future.
That's like sorry, I'm really excited about this. That has never been done before. Nobody has ever like had their face in an NFT moving, singing words that they've, you know, produced out of their own mouth before. This doesn't happen in the world.
Huh.
Until now. I mean, until now.
I feel like we should have got a prettier face, but what are you gonna do?
Well, you nailed the T-shirt. That was a well.
Yeah, Corey, you're such a great artist, musician to work with, because not only do you sound great, but you've just got a great presence to you. So I it's been a joy working on producing these videos and the music around you, because you are, I think you're just this undiscovered star, and and I feel like I'm like I get to I get to release it to the world, right? So it's like it's a real honor.
Thanks, man. That is far more praise than I deserve, but I'll take it. It's a Thursday morning. What are you gonna do? Yeah, I mean this drop, I'm really excited about it because of what it is. But to Jimmy's point, and your reaction to it speaks volumes, I think, Jimmy. Like, we're at the start of something. Like, this is the first time MTV realizes, wait a minute, what if we get these weirdos to do music videos and then put them on TV? And adding in the layer of gamification and the layer of ownership and what that does in a an artist appreciation kind of community is it can only be big. It's like another one of those freaking neon signs that just is glaring that there's going to be demand for this. There's going to be a lot of growth. And then, I get to drop a single down the road that I have never recorded before. Seriously, I've always wanted to do it. It is by far the most popular song that I've ever written myself. And even while we're thinking about doing that for future drops, mBlu is like, hey, can you learn this Tom Petty song? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I can. Let's do it. Like, there's so many different things that we're going to be able to do. And I want to cover, like, I want to, do more, mBlu songs and do more collaborations. Just like everything we do ends up, making my head do this thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about it, Corey. This is our starting point, right?
Yeah.
And it's not too bad. So I'm pumped. I'm very excited about that. And, and it's just the very beginning, the tip of the iceberg. Your song Solace, I can't wait to start working on that. I gotta bump this November 15th out, right? And
yeah, we're a little busy.
Been a little busy, but yeah, I'm super excited about that song. He's written this song called Solace, which is just beautiful beyond words. And I get the privilege of producing the track around it. And hopefully I can do that justice.
You will. I have absolutely no doubt. You totally will.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool that you guys found each other. I think that's awesome. Like,
you know what I was going to say real quick is that, imagine, MTV 2.0 on the blockchain, but you have tradable songs like this, right? That you can own, you can gift, you can trade, you can collect, in series. So, instead of going to, YouTube to watch videos, you're going to another platform with all this music videos. It could even be, short animations or feature length movies as well as NFTs. But, content that you can actually buy, sell, and trade, or just watch, right? And maybe the watching part is monetized for the owner as well, in some meaningful way. Maybe similar to how Emanate's doing it with music, streaming music, where the artists get paid every 6 seconds, right?
Well, and I do think that there will become a time where you can only watch it if you are the. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and I think it's very, very close where we're at the point where you can only watch it if you're the owner. You can only play it if you're the owner. You can only, like, if you're not the owner, maybe it cuts out. Maybe it does something annoying where you can't see the full vision, right? Like, I think we're at that point, like we said, we're early, but we're at that point where I think, there will be clips like this where it actually has the ability to prevent artists from being taken advantage of by illegal downloads and things like that, right? And I think that's quite important.
Yeah, no, I know where you're going with that, and I'm trying to come up with but it's probably already out there, and I just don't know about it. But I would like to see a model to where the artist can be rewarded because of piracy somehow. Like there's an incentive model. Like the more you share it, the more.
There might be a dust mine in here, Corey.
Like there's some way to where you just put it out in the wild, say, hey, have fun, guys. Do what you will, but it's always attributed to the artist. And
okay, I have it right now.
What if every time the video was played? I don't know if I should say this on air. What if every time the video was played, it was backed by a certain number of tokens? What if every time the video was played, that those tokens got released back to the owner, and then it got burnt out?
Well, think about this. Uniswap drops $1 billion worth of tokens, right? What if we just made money on the secondary market? If when we have a large enough audience, which is what Uniswap waited for, which is really smart, right? You have a large enough audience, you drop a single to 1 million people, and just sit back and go, yeah, we got a 5% vig on the secondary sales in perpetuity.
Yeah, exactly.
And walk the fuck away rich.
Yeah, imagine like I use the word Maroon 5 because they've been around forever and they have a massive audience and following. Yeah, can you imagine if they dropped a single to 1 million random fans, right?
Well,
like that would have.
And if they used your tool, now we could drop to those fans too. Like, hey, if you like Maroon 5, you're gonna love Solace. Boom.
Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna go like the long way around here because this is just what popped into my head. Like,
can you walk slowly?
Yeah.
You two, all that you can't leave behind. I listened to that album yesterday. It was brilliant. I can't believe how brilliant it was. And now I got you talking, and all I can think about was how badly they botched that release of the latest album that went like free to everyone. Like, blockchain can solve that problem, right? Blockchain can make it relevant. I mean, nothing against you two, love them, but that last album, when they put it out to everyone, they just gave it away for free. In my opinion, it wasn't. It just killed the vision behind being able to do that, right? And I think, like you're saying, blockchain has the ability to still hold on to that elitist ideology where the fan base can collect, the fan base can see, the fan base can feel like they have, some sort of connection, as opposed to just going out to everyone.
Didn't Radiohead release theirs via donation, and they made way more personally than when the last time they released it through a record label?
Could be
way more.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that. I don't remember the metrics, but yeah, I remember it was successful for them. I applauded them for that. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, I'm wondering if they're embracing blockchain yet, or if it's on their radar.
Dude, that'd be sick.
Yeah, I listened to a lot of Radiohead in the day.
Still do. All right, so if you haven't signed up for uplift.art yet to get random drops of goodness, and I really do, like, I want to do a live video that will only go out to people that have signed up for that. As far as the time and the locations, you might want to get on there. You go to uplift.art, throw your email address in, throw your mom's email address in, and be prepared for the drop on the 15th. So how the 15th rolls around, I've got my wax account, I got $100 worth of wax in there, so I can buy as many packs as I possibly can get my hands on, which is literally, for the record, what I'm going to do. So what's that going to look like? When does the clock roll over? How does the actual process work for when we do the actual drop itself?
Yeah, so we don't have the exact time on the 15th yet, but just keep posted and sign up for notifications. And we're on Telegram. We're growing our Uplift Art channel on Telegram right now. Just go to Telegram, search Uplift Art. Then you'll be in the know of all the details and the random drops of goodness and all that good stuff. But basically on the 15th, you go to a website and you go to the event page and you click whether or not you want we're doing crate drops. We're not doing packs, we're doing crates, because the image of Uplift Art and the artists that we're bringing on, we're doing everything from 3D rendering sculptures to large canvases to different shapes of 3D art. So packs just don't cut it, right? So we're doing these really beautiful, shiny, they look like art pieces themselves, crates that just come in, spin, open, boom, really, really magnificent animation. And then boom, your art pieces come in. So you can either buy the small crate, which holds 6 pieces, or the large crate that holds 20 pieces. The small crate will hold more lower rarity pieces. So if you really want to get the collector's edition, limited edition, common or uncommon, then you'll want to buy the small crates, because they'll hold more typically of the uncommon, the common, the rare, and the epic cards. If you want more rare cards, you're going to want to buy the larger crate, which holds 20. So the odds of getting a mythic card or legendary card or epic card are greater in the bigger crates. So if you want to complete that series and get the collector's edition, then you'll probably want to go after the larger crate. So it's really what your strategy is. Do you want to get the uncommon, common, rare collector's editions, and you buy the smaller crates?
So there's 5 levels of rarities, right?
But we've got common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, and mythic.
Oh, sorry, 6 levels of rarity. Okay, so
and the collector's edition at the top, so really 7.
And when you get a set, when you collect the set, and then you burn them, do they all have to be from that same rarity to be able to burn them?
Right. So if you've got, let's say 10, let's start with common cards for a second. They all work the same, right? So let's start with common cards, right? Let's say you have 10 common cards. You say, okay, I'm going to burn that, and I'm going to get a random uncommon card. So that's the next rarity level higher. So you burn 10 and you get a random uncommon card.
Is that the exact number? Sorry to interrupt. Like you need to have 10 common ones.
10 common to get one random from the next tier up of uncommon. But here's the thing is you also have a chance of winning a mythic card. So instead of getting the next rarity up, you get the 6th rarity up, the top of the deck, just below the collector's edition. But you get a chance to win that instead. So that happens if, let's say you're in the rare, you have 10 rares, you burn those, and then you get one random epic or a mythic, right? So that works all the way up. But you can also, if you have, say, 25 common cards, right? You can burn the whole collection of the common cards. You can burn all 25 and immediately get the highest card in the deck, which is the mint 1 common collector's edition. But same thing happens with uncommon. You can burn those 25, boom, and get the number 1 mint for the uncommon collector's edition. So same with rare, same with epic, same with legendary.
Yeah, so I would imagine we're probably going to put together a post with all of these scenarios at some point, right? And
no, we're not going to communicate any of the mechanics. We're just going to let people just...
You just heard it here. So if you didn't follow that, then
got it. Go. Marcus said no.
Yeah, right. The whole time you're talking about this, I'm thinking like a month from now, I'm gonna be like, man, I gotta buy 2 more comments so that I can burn it. Like I'm literally in my head, I'm playing this like this is gonna be fun and clearly ongoing, right? Like we're gonna be seeing action in this space for a long time. And again, like every time, because again, with the NFT market, the creators get a little bit of percentage of all the secondary sales or whatever. So like every single time I'm going in and buying some more cards so that I can try and get something from a different rarity level. The charities that we're working for, the people that are literally starving in Haiti are going to be getting some revenue over and over and over again as Uplift Nation gets their percentage of the revenue, right?
Correct. Yes.
I just thought, that's how this should work.
Yeah, and for anyone who's not
stuff.
familiar with Uplift Nation, I mean, just please go to upliftnation.io or upliftdao.com. There's a plethora of information about the organization and what's going on over there, and what our goals are in the future and how we expect to achieve it. And again, if you're interested in the art drops and how all that works, then you need to go to uplift.art, uplift.art. Divisions of the same, but a little bit separated, right?
Yeah. So, Uplift Art is just basically a revenue model business to bring revenue to Uplift Nation, to basically be able to build the rails and, operations of the charity itself, so that donations that we receive can go directly to their intended cause. I mean, because charities, how they're run today, is kind of a mess, because you've got charities where everybody just expects people working for charity. You just expect them all to work for free, right? Well, that's not reality. So you've got massive turnover in all charities, because they're so low overhead. They don't have the money or the resources to hire top talent and to keep top talent, right? So if charities were governed in a different way, perhaps in the way that we're envisioning, then you don't have to worry about, the revolving door, because it's a win-win-win for everybody. So that's what we're really trying to pioneer, is a win-win-win, to where we can engage, hire, work with top talent that stick around to help implement, solutions and connections that just, make the world a better place.
I think that's it. I think we dropped the mic.
Yeah, I think it was a great first guest episode. Thanks for joining us.
No, hey, thanks for having me on. And that's really good timing too, because I live on Zoom and I've got another meeting starting in a few minutes. So that's perfect timing. And, I really appreciate you guys having me on the show. Really excited about the show and what you guys are doing. I can imagine two better personalities coming together and just, adding massive value to the whole ecosystem.
Well, we thought about it and we were just like, well, we both have beards, so let's start a podcast.
That's really, it's about the beards. Yeah, mBlu, thank you so much for everything that you're doing and for including me in it. I really am grateful and really stoked. It's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, Jimmy, thanks for doing this weekly update thing with me as well. I think there's going to be news coming out around Chirp all the time, which is why we have this podcast. Again, if you haven't signed up and threw a Telos account into Chirp and posted, like it's worth doing. Go to hashtag Telos on Chirp and post in there, just so that you can go back to your Telos wallet, on Wombat or a Scatter or wherever you have it, and see that the transaction's instantaneous. You post, you get a little microtransaction. You post, you get a little microtransaction.
I did it. It works.
It's tight. We're
and don't forget, we also have a EOSIO weekly channel on Chirp now.
Yep.
So please come in there and interact with us. Whatever you want to say. There's no kosher in there. Say whatever you want to say, and we'll bring it.
We got to do. We should get some. I would even donate some EOS. We can turn that into an EOS producing channel, so that when people post news articles, they get a little microtransaction. We can maybe crowdfund that and do it to support the space. But mBlu, before you go, I got to tell you this, because I know you got a call here in a second. I'm talking to Kurt about a random NFT drop for posting. So if you're in the uplift.art channel on Chirp, it will automatically, like, you got your wax address loaded up in there, every 10th post, every 20th post, or however many NFTs we want to drop in there, it'll automatically drop stuff to people that are interacting with the channel.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
love it. Great idea. Cool. Good stuff, guys. Love you both.
All right.
Till next time, you stay awesome.
Okay. See you, man. All right. Well,
you off?
That's fine. No. We're still on.
No. I mean,
no, we're still live.
yeah, I say welcome back next week, and we'll have another great guest for you.
Yep, absolutely. It's Jacques next week, yeah?
Yeah, we're going to talk to Jack Wales from Discussions app, which has a lot of crazy experiences in the EOSIO space, from running his own social platform to being a critic and an advocate of everything that's going on within EOS, and recently been one of the people influential in taking back the moderator control of the Reddit channel. So
yeah, the EOS Reddit channel. Yeah, I heard about that.
a lot of really good stuff.
Jacques was one of the first people that I talked to while I was kind of exploring the EOS space when I first got into it. Super responsive, agreed to an interview right away when, I had a tiny little platform. Just a genuinely good dude. So I'm excited to have him.
He's an amazing person. So I actually did a few episodes of his discussions app weekly podcast. I was a guest host on there with him, and it's always fun to talk to him. So yeah,
absolutely. Little production note as well. Kurt and I had a conversation last night. I'm like finagling him into doing it weekly because it was absolutely hilarious. If you haven't listened to it, it's on the ChirpCast channel here. We did talk Chirp for the first half, and ended up talking aliens for the second half. And I think it was Max Infeld called it Chirp and Sturf.
I liked it actually. Like,
that's a good name. We're totally changing the name. I'm going to get him to do it weekly.
On my social channels, I watched the first half and I shouted that out. I mean, if you're at all interested in like how blockchain can be usable for the regular person, I check it out. And if you're at all interested in like, shit that people don't talk about, stay around for the second half because it was awesome.
It got weird, and it's gonna we're doing it again. And again, so there's always going to be updates. We're going to be adding tokens. If you know anybody that has a project that wants to have their token being used, and honestly, like I think dust mines are going to be a thing as well. We're working out the deal with the crew on dust and what Chirp is going to need to make those happen so that people can have dust mines on Chirp as well. I think channels that don't have some kind of incentive model will be extremely rare on Chirp before too long, which is exactly how we want it.
I 100% agree. Let's get some dust on Chirp.
Let's make it happen. All right. Cheers, man. Thanks. That was fun.